Can one really start over from scratch in a foreign country? And let's make it look, let's paint a more grimmer picture. Your finances are jacked up. Instead of living on two sources of income, you're now on one. You filed bankruptcy. Your mom is sick. Now you're having to take care of her, and the stress is coming down on you hard in the States, and you're looking for another way out. Is it possible to start over? Is it realistic? And got another comment. Somebody wrote this. I'm gonna read this to you. That's what this lady had dealt with. She's here in Merida, and I'm gonna read what she wrote. This was in response to a video I posted yesterday, as a matter of fact. So this video is one of many that resonated with me when I first saw your content, and it, along with other videos, sparked the desire to start looking at moving abroad as an option to get out of a bad situation. This was 2 years ago when I found your videos and heard you speak about a lot of the same issues I was dealing with. I was dealing with my mom being diagnosed with early onset dementia. At that time, it began a downward spiral of financial devastation. Filing for bankruptcy, having to leave my job to become her full-time caregiver. Now the two of us trying to survive off of one fixed income. So I had to rethink some things and really look at what was going to work for us. And in all honesty, had this the devastation not happened to us, I never would have thought about moving out of the country. I never had a passport. We never had a passport, and we've never traveled anywhere, and we arrived here in Merida, Mexico on April 11th this year. It's been a little rough, but not as rough as it was before we left. I traveled back home a couple of weeks ago to take care of some things with the house. I am happier here than in my 50 plus years of living in the United States. Yes, it's a difference, but I left for a different life experience other than the one I was facing. We're going to deal with changes anyway, so how you decide to deal with them is up to you. I had some family, even a few friends telling me, oh, you're just talking, that's crazy. Why? What are you thinking? Or like you said, calling you crazy or thinking something is wrong with you. But you have to think outside the box. Sometimes staying put is not an option, and just because it's what you know, it doesn't mean it's the only thing or the only way. To anyone reading this whom haven't left or have land not sure if they like it, Cortez have said it many times. What is your why? Keep that in mind, and as your main point of focus. Things are going to get tough. It's going to get hard, but keeping your why will keep you moving forward no matter what. This is one of our subscribers. She makes a lot of great points. You got to do what works for you. Nobody has to understand. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody. It just needs to make sense to you. She made some great comments and some great points, and I can relate to her. For me, it was financial devastation. For her, going from the income she had, the career she had, to now both of them having to live on one fixed income, that can be difficult in the States. Your money just goes so much further here in Mexico. I mean, a long way. It's almost hard to believe. I had a consultation today with a lady who said, I'm coming to Mexico next week. I want to live where the local folks live just like the locals, take the buses like the locals. I'm not going to be taking Uber. I'm not going to be taking taxis. I'm going to take the bus. I want to live in a building, a 2 or 3 story building where other people live. I don't want a high rise. I don't want a fancy. And she said, I want my rent to be between $300 and $400, $300 to $500. And with the specifications that she gave, she can find a place here for $350 a month if she's willing to live like the locals. And living like the locals is not a bad thing. Like this young lady said here, it's just some of the ways and some of the things are just different. And so the house is not going to be super fancy and super modern, but that's what most folks who live here, that's how they live. And so, like this young lady said, they arrived here on April 11th and they're making it work. She said it was tough. It's going to be uncomfortable. But she said she's so far better here than it has been for the last 50 years of her life. Man, I'm telling y'all, my daughter flew out to Italy last week. She's gonna start traveling for a year, living abroad on her own. And she's in Italy now, right outside of Milan. And she is ecstatic about the way things are going there. Now, she's only been there for a week now, but she's ecstatic. She's like, oh my God, Daddy, I'm amazed at how vastly different things are from the United States from living in Mexico for a couple of years, and now I'm in Italy. It's totally different. And when she go to these different places, it's going to be totally different there. So when you come to Mexico, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. But one thing I can promise you, depending on what your finances are like, you're going to have more breathing room here than you would there. You're going to have more comfort. You're going to have the ability to kind of reset, restart, get things going, and assuming this is a financial decision. Now, a lot of folks in the comments will say, oh, you shouldn't go to Mexico just because the finances. Well, for some of us, it's a financial decision that's being made. Not everybody dealing with financial stuff, I get that. But again, you have to understand what your why is. I'm talking to my why, and we're talking about this lady's why, and your why might just be something different. So, like the lady we spoke with today, she just was like, hey, I just want to live in a different culture, experience new things. We talked about it. Me and my husband talked about it for years. He ended up getting sick, went into the hospital, never came out. And so she was like, I've shelved these plans for a while, and so now it's like, why am I going to just stay here? I'm gonna pick up those plans my husband and I started to work on, and I'm just gonna go. So what is your why? What this lady is proving in this message, and what I'm proving based on what I've shared previously, is that you really can recarve and restart and renew and rebuild a new life and design it any way you like somewhere else, in a place that resonates with you, in a place that works for you. Because Mexico or Merida might not be for many of you. It's hot here, you know what I mean? But there's other countries and places where it's not hot. You get to decide where you want to go. She chose Merida. You get to decide, but you got to sit down, come up with a strategy. And I just keep talking about this because I see a lot of people come without a plan, without a strategy, without a why. They're following the other folks online, just watching them and thinking that, hey, this is going to be fun. It's going to be an adventure. No, it ain't fun. It is far from fun. It only became fun once we settled down and got established and had a focus. You gotta have a focus. You gotta have a reason. Because at the first sign of trouble, most people will leave. They will be out. They will be gone. But you don't have to if you have a strategy. You need to have a plan. The hardest thing I have when I talk to people, the most challenging thing for me is convincing people that this way of life is real and that it can be yours. It really can. You just have to make the decision. when you choose to stay in a place that you don't like or a place that you struggle, it's a choice. You're making the choice to stay when there are other places that you can make a choice to go. And life can fare out better if that's what you want. I had somebody made a comment, well, you shouldn't be going to no country and you can't speak Spanish. It's just gonna make it doesn't make any sense. And you know what? He's right. It doesn't make sense for him to go to another country and not know Spanish. He's right. But there's other people who say, I'll learn the language or figure it out when I get there. And you know what? They're right too. So it's whatever your worldview, your world perspective is your point of view. You're going to be right. You're right. Don't matter. You're right. I try not to argue with folk when they say this is how it should be or this is what I believe or it ain't going to work. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Not going to try and change your mind. Do you need to know Spanish? It helps a lot. It will make your experience better. You can practice all the Spanish you want in the States, but as soon as you get off that plane, it ain't gonna be the same. Everything you thought you knew is gonna go straight out the window. The dialect is different, the slang is different, the accents are different, and what you learn on the apps is not even remotely close to the same as when you hear it. Your pronunciation is gonna be off. You're not gonna understand what they're saying. They roll 2 or 3 words together where it sounds like one. So theoretically, for me, in my opinion, I think the best way to learn the language is once you get here, immerse yourself in a school or get a teacher and start learning right away while you're here. Don't waste 3 years talking about, oh, I gotta get my Spanish right before I move. It ain't gonna work out. One, in those 3 years, your Spanish is still gonna suck. Still ain't gonna understand much of anything when you get off the plane. And fact of the matter is, you just wasted 3 years of your life. Had you come down here and put the same effort and energy into learning Spanish as down here, 1 year later, your Spanish would be off the chain if you had the same intent on learning the Spanish. Because you learn it from the locals, you learning the local slang, you're hearing it, your ear is getting better from hearing it. Because I promise you, them apps that you're looking at online ain't, I don't care what nobody tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in the flesh, seeing how much drastically different it is. All these folks I meet talking about, I've been doing Duolingo. When they get off the plane, they like, So, and I'm saying this to say, don't let these little details throw you off. Don't let it delay you. But do make it a priority to learn it because it will enhance your quality of life. I get by, my Spanish suck. But look, I done came down here and started a whole business, a whole company, gonna be hiring my first local employee in the next 30 to 60 days. You know what I mean? Don't know anything about this language is horrible. Done built the full. You see people do this all the time in the United States. Foreigners come from all other parts of the world not speaking English, and then 5-10 years later, they on top. There's no obstacle that can stop you but you. You know what I mean? So again, don't worry about the details. Just trust that, hey, once I get going, I follow my plan. And part of your plan, you should have in your plan, take some Spanish classes. You know what I mean? Because some of you need it, because some of you, it will break some of you. It will frustrate many of you how you going back home. And if you know you that person, have that in your plan, take them doggone classes and stick with them classes. Don't shortcut it, take the classes. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's always gonna be a reason to leave. And whether or not those reasons are valid is 100% entirely up to you. You know, but I promise you, a year later, this lady here is gonna be in a whole lot, heck of a lot better of a situation a year from now. She's already talking about how great it is already. So April, May, June, so that means she's been here at least 2 months already. I'm gonna see if I can interview her and get her on. So if you're watching this, Lenora, I think that was your YouTube channel name, reach out to me and let me know. Because this is real. This is real. The struggle is real back at home. You don't have to fight through this. If your situation is financial, you don't have to struggle. It may be a little challenging and a little difficult getting here. You might have to wait and save your money. She's been putting this together for 2 years. Anything worth getting, man, it's gonna take some time for some folks. You can't just, some of us don't have the ability just to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm out. Some of us do. I told y'all my story yesterday. That PPP loan was a big factor. It gave me a nice lump of money, and I was like, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make it work. We out. You know, so, and a lot of the things that you do in the States and have done, had interest in, I say this all the time, they're here. If you like to bowl, you can bowl. Join the bowling team. There's the archery team, school you can join, and join the archery team. The swimming team, soccer, baseball, knitting, sewing, learning how to do nails, whatever, robotics classes, language learning classes. You can go to a pastry school and learn how to make cakes and desserts. You can learn and do whatever you want. Like to go fishing, go fishing. I met a guy who started his own little fishing company. He loved fishing. So he started this little fishing charter thing, and that's all he does. He take people out fishing every day. Every day. You don't have to lose yourself. In fact, you actually find more time for yourself to do the things that mean a lot to you when you're not having to struggle to make as much money and you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you don't have to here. You finally have a chance to have some time to yourself to do the things that really matter for you. So sit down, work out a plan, work out a strategy, take a look at our Thrive Abroad Academy course on our website, moveabroadandthrive.com. You'll see a link that say courses. Sit down, write that out, put it on paper, get it out of your head. I just believe you can do anything you want. It's possible. But you just have to sit down long enough to put it on paper and write out some steps and be intentional. Because it's easy getting here. Now, it's challenging staying, but it's easy to get here once you make that decision. Take one step at a time. Keep going. Time is going to fly by so fast, it's hard to believe it's been 4 years. But you got this. If you'd like to talk about a strategy for yourself, for your family, for a move, reach out to me, book a consultation on our website, moveabroadandthrive.com. Come visit, come take a look at it. And not just Merida, go look at several other places, several other countries. Go investigate and see which one works for you. That's my TED Talk for the day.